Every night, the same sounds. A muffled shout, then a thud against the wall we shared. I'd freeze, spoon halfway to my mouth, my own dinner suddenly tasteless. Her apartment 3B was a black box of unanswered questions. I knew her name was Elena. I'd see her in the hallway sometimes, a shadow with a quick nervous smile and eyes that never quite met mine. Her husband, Mark, was the opposite, loud, confident, always a booming hello that felt more like a demand than a greeting. At first, I told myself it was just a couple fighting. People argue. It's none of my business. I'd turn up my TV, trying to drown out the raw, ragged sound of her crying. But you can't unhear things. The sound seeped through the plaster, into my living room, into my conscience. I'd lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, my heart thumping in time with the muffled impacts from next door. What should I do? Call the police? What if I'm wrong? What if I make it worse for her? He'd know it was me. The excuses piled up, a wall I built to protect myself from having to act. It was easier to be a coward. One week it was particularly bad, every single night. Her pleas were clearer, more desperate. Please, Mark, stop, and then the sickening crack of something breaking, followed by a sharp, choked-off cry. I grabbed my phone, my thumb hovering over the call button. My hands were shaking. I imagined the police showing up, the awkward questions, Mark's furious glare in the hallway tomorrow. And I put the phone down. Again, I told myself if it happened tomorrow, I would call. I promised myself. That was Tuesday. Wednesday night was silent, eerily so. The kind of silence that's louder than any noise. I found myself holding my breath, straining to hear something, anything. A footstep, a cough, the hum of a refrigerator. Nothing. Thursday, the same deafening quiet. I cooked dinner. The silence from 3B a constant, nagging presence. I couldn't focus on my book. The TV show felt pointless. The quiet was a gaping hole in the fabric of my evening routine, a routine that had been horribly punctuated by their turmoil. By Friday, a cold dread had settled in my stomach. I hadn't seen Elena all week. I hadn't seen Mark either. I knocked on their door that evening, my knuckles rapping against the wood, the sound echoing in the silent hallway. No answer. I knocked again, louder this time. Elena, are you okay? My voice sounded small, pathetic. The silence that answered was heavy, absolute. I peered through the peephole, but it was dark. My promise to act, made too late, echoed in my mind. That weekend was a blur of anxiety. Every siren in the distance made my heart leap into my throat. Every time I left my apartment, I'd glance at her door, half expecting, half dreading to see a police seal across it. But there was nothing. It was just a door, closed and quiet. The guilt was a physical weight. What if my call could have made a difference? What if her last cry for help was the one I chose to ignore while I was trying to enjoy my pasta? The what-ifs were relentless, a swarm of angry bees in my head. I wasn't just a neighbor. I was a witness, a silent one. My inaction felt like a betrayal. The following Monday, I saw the landlord, Mr. Henderson, in the lobby. I tried to ask casually, "Hey, haven't seen the folks in 3B for a while. Are they on vacation?" He looked at me, his expression unreadable. "They moved out," he said flatly. "Broke their lease. Left in a hurry last Wednesday morning." Relief washed over me, so potent it almost buckled my knees. They were gone. She was okay. She got away. They moved. But the relief was quickly chased by a different kind of chill. She had left. She had found the strength to escape. And I had done nothing to help her. My silence hadn't protected her. It had simply left her to fight her battle alone. I never knew what happened to Elena. I hope she found safety. I hope she's happy, but her memory is etched into the walls of my apartment. Her unheard cries are a permanent echo in the quiet moments of my life. I learned something terrible from the silence of apartment 3B. I learned that "it's none of my business" is a lie we tell ourselves to justify our fear. I learned that a moment of courage from a stranger can be a lifeline. My silence was a choice, and it's a choice I have to live with every single day. Don't wait for the silence. Don't assume someone else will make the call. If you hear something, if you suspect someone is in danger, your intervention could be the one thing that makes a difference. It can be anonymous. It can be scary. But the alternative, the guilt of what could have been, is so much worse. If you or someone you know is experiencing violence, please know there are people who want to help. There are hotlines and resources available. Your voice matters. Don't let fear make you a silent witness. Make the call. Be the neighbor she needed me to be. Thank you for listening.